Hi everybody, it's Peter Zalums, Greeny Flicks Adventure 8, and welcome to another video. Today we're talking about Adventure 8 four-wheel drive, my Troopy here. I've had suspension changed, well actually I've had my shockers changed on it. I used the ARB BP51s. I had those replaced a few years ago. What I was running before that was the Nitros, which were very reliable. I did something like over 100,000 kilometers on them before I changed them. And or maybe even longer, 140,000 kilometers I'd say. I didn't throw them away, I kept them, but I replaced them with the BP51s. The first batch unfortunately weren't as reliable as I was hoping, not as reliable as the Nitros, because I had oil leak issues. So far they have been replaced under warranty, and basically all four have failed. And ARB have come to the party and they've replaced under warranty, which is great. And now I'm setting up the third one that has been replaced. The fourth one is in for replacement at this stage. And the next task is to adjust the compression and the rebound. That was the one reason why I actually went for the BP51s. So that's what this video is about, is how to set up that compression and rebound to what you need. Before I continue with the install, I can give you an update on that fourth ARB shock that I took back to ARB to get them replaced. The first three out of the four that failed were replaced under warranty because they fell into the 2-year time frame warranty period. And but the fourth one, because of COVID and the car wasn't used, and even though the kilometers were low, usage on the shock wasn't replaced under warranty. I had to pay for the refurbishment, which in Australian dollars I think was almost $600, so it's quite significant. So I'm a bit disappointed with that, considering all four failed. In Australia, probably like many countries, as soon as there's any hint of an oil leak on the shock, you can't re-register the car. So that's, quite serious. I will continue with the install, so at least a bit of education on this video. And yes, I do have my other vehicle, the Hilux camper, where I'm looking to actually replace that suspension as well. So I don't think I'll be going for BP51s. The Nitros were much more reliable, and I'm looking for something more reliable where I don't have this oil leak problem. The old Nitro, there you go. And we've got the newly refurbished BP51 here. How my original shocks failed in all cases basically is this seal here. When they're operating correctly, there might be a bit of a smear there, but nothing much really. So there's not much difference between seeing the chrome here and the chrome there. It's all good. When they do leak, they will leak gradually, and which means you'll see the dust and the oil build up down on the bottom. In the worst case scenario, as it happened to me as well, I parked my Troopy here in the warehouse, came back about a month later to see a pool of oil underneath the car, because all the oil basically had drained out past the seal. And basically I've set up my BP51 to be the same as my Nitro. Best way to demonstrate what I did was put a screwdriver through the bottom eyelet here and stand on it, and then just use my weight to compress it, see how much resistance there is, and then pull up and see how much resistance there is. I'm assuming that if you were wanting to do this, you'd have to do it with a shock that actually works. So I've got a feel for how much resistance there is in the compression and how much resistance there is in the rebound. And you can see we've got compression, and also resistance or rebound, compression and rebound settings. And you can rotate this collar or that collar there to maximum and minimum, and also the and anywhere in between. I did test this at both minimum as well as maximum, and I've basically settled to go around 4 from max in both cases, for compression as well as for rebound. Doing the same with this. There is an internal spring in the BP51s which is stronger
than on the nitro. So when you put your weight on, you got to get past that spring first, and then feel the compression resistance, and the same with the rebound resistance. You do have the spring there, which is helping you. Yeah, okay. You really do notice the difference when you have it on the minimum settings versus the maximum settings. When it's on 4th from max for both compression and also rebound, then that's probably pretty close to what the older nitros are like, which then gives me a bit more capacity to go to a max on both compression and max on rebound later on when I get the 4th unit back from ARB. Alright, so we'll fit it and it should be all fine. So let's fit these. It's a pretty simple task. There's a couple of bolts that you basically put on down the bottom and up the top. There is a bracket that you actually have to mount this reservoir in, so you just have to be careful that you do that correctly as well. Nothing is quite as easy as you would hope, but anyway, so this, because there's a strong spring within the shock, it means that when you install it, so you can get the top mount on quite easily, but you can see the bottom mount is probably about 75 millimeters of compression I have to have in there. So what I'm going to do is try and use this jack here to basically compress the shock and try and align it and get the bottom eye here onto the spigot there. That's a plan. Alright. I should be able to tap it on with a plastic mallet, of course, so you don't damage anything. And that is on. Okay. So I'll be able to do the bottom bolt up, as well as the top bolt, and then I'll have to mount the reservoir, which I have all the brackets there already, which I'll show you shortly. Okay, well the next little challenge is this bracket here. Hello. The reservoir goes through there. You got to sort of slide it on, and then you got a couple of bolts here that then go through a plate, a nylon nut, and also a washer. And when you have to sort of put it into the holes and then do it up. And what I did notice is that they'll slide and they'll slide out, and it's a real pain in the neck. So what I'll do is I'll just put a bit of tape across the ends here to stop that bolt from sliding around, which will make the install a bit easier. All right, that'll at least hold these bolts in place, and then I can slide the shock reservoir in here and then mount it on the bracket, put these bolts through the hole, put the washer and the nut on there as well, and that will hold it in place. Yes, well you can see there isn't much space up here for the reservoir. You can see where the bracket fits. That's the bracket I was working on, and that fits. You have to sort of slide it onto the reservoir there. I don't know whether you can actually see, but there's just managed to get one bolt through. So I have to get the washer and the nut onto there now, which won't be that easy. So I'm using one of these little extendable magnet poles. There's a magnet on the end, and that way you could sort of hold the washer. You can hold the washer or the nut on the end of the magnet, and then you can sort of place it up on whatever you want. So that's what I'm doing. Hopefully that's going to work. Wow. I got it on. I got the washer on, I got the nut on. So all I have to do is just do them up now, and then that should be it, hopefully. Okay, I think we have success. So the reservoir is now attached firmly within this bracket onto this plate, and then when I fit see that's the other nitro right now.
when I get my fourth ARB BP51 refurbished, then I'll be able to take this one out, which is still in good working condition, and I'll mount it here, and then the second reservoir basically goes underneath that one on the roadside. All right. Oh, done. Pack up all my tools. That's it for today. Well, I hope you found that useful. Yeah, so it will be interesting to see. I guess it's going to take a little while before I'll be able to report back on this next batch of ARB 51s. I'd be interested to hear from any other people that have installed the BP 51s. What sort of experience you had? Did you have problems with oil leaks? Basically the seal around the main shaft failing and then oil coming out, either draining out rapidly as it did with one of my shocks, or seep out. Any seepage means that you can't register the car, so just the seepage isn't acceptable in Australia, for example, as far as oil leaks are concerned. Yeah, anyway, so welcome some feedback on that. I do have my Hilux camper with the Alucab Canopy camper. It's got standard shocks and suspension on there right now. I need to replace that. So if there are any suppliers out there that would like to get involved in my channel, please do contact me. I'd be looking forward to trying them out. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, then give it a thumbs up, and that's how you support the channel, of course. And if it's the first time to my channel, you haven't already subscribed, then do press subscribe, press notifications. You'll be notified when the next video is out. Yeah, anyway, thanks for watching. I look forward to seeing you on the next video. Cheers. Bye.